one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you everyone for coming to the meeting.
Thank you too.
Did our resolution.
Courtney, you're there.
Huh?
Okay, roll call now.
Yeah.
Mr. Douglas?
Fabro
Mr.
test.
Barber? Mr. Bruno?
Here.
Mr. Irwin?
First
Here.
on the list.
Mr. McDonald?
Here.
Lucky me.
Water and
Yeah.
Sewer Superintendent, Mr. Tatro, Highway Superintendent, Mr. Flynn, Mr. Farrell, Youth Director, Mr. Flynn, our Recreation Director, our Attorney, Matt Favreau, Confidential Secretary to the Board, Pamela Barber, and we welcome our residents or guests.
Our town clerk, tax collector. Okay, I'm gonna get right on it. I need approval, I need a motion and a second approval of the special meeting of January 28th, 2022.
Make the motion.
Craig made the or actually Craig, you can't because there's two of you weren't here.
Come on.
Craig wasn't, and
Was it for the truck?
I'll make the motion.
I was here.
Oh, I can't.
it's you two. You two can't.
I'll make the motion.
So Rick
I'll
made the
second.
motion, Jim Douglas second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I need a motion and a second for the February 7th special meeting.
I'll make that motion.
No, I can't.
How can I not be at that one too? How many
That was
meetings
that
have I been
early- That was
missing?
the earlier one.
I'll make it.
Jim Douglas? Rick?
Have you been missing any meetings?
That was after our training. One after the training. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now I need one for, which Rick, you can't be in this one.
No.
I need a- I need
Hey, you're up to
a
bat.
motion
I'm not taking
for
any
February
chances.
14th meeting.
Not taking any chances.
I'll make that motion.
Mel? Second?
I'll second.
Jim Douglas? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we got all of them done. Community inputs. Ryan, do you want to go now, or do you want to go,
Oh, I
You can
just,
take as much time as, I'm here, I'm not going anywhere.
Is there anything on the sheets?
No
I
worries.
gave it to him.
Are you on the clock?
What?
You on the clock?
I'm always on the
it's
clock.
the next two, so you can speak now.
Okay, yeah, so, hey everybody, my name is Ryan McCune. I'm here representing Nexamp Solar, more notably and more pertinently, the Northway solar project that was recently cleared through the planning board here. Anyone who's involved in that process is a reason you hadn't seen me. My company, Nexamp, procured that project from Renew Energy from Dave Byrne, who we have a long-standing relationship with and work on a lot of different projects. So the reason I'm here tonight is we have two separate agreements in front of the board for consideration, a decommissioning plan agreement, as well as a contract for the environmental contribution, which is both the passage of both of these were made conditions of us being able to pull our building permit. So the site plan and special use permit approvals were issued at the end of last year, but these two items are obviously precursors for us to move forward and pull the building permit prior to construction. 10,000 foot view of the project for those of you who aren't familiar with it. About 2 miles north on 22, we have a 5 megawatt solar project on give or take around 27 to 28 acres. We are coming back in front of the planning board for a slight site plan amendment on the 9th that will change that acreage. But it's a 5 megawatt AC system plugged right into the local NYSEG grid that we've had approval on and been moving forward throughout the process. As I mentioned, it was permitted by Renew Energy and then transferred to Nexamp in November of last year, and we will be owning and operating the system moving forward. So as a secondary piece to the passage or discussion around both of the agreements that I have in front of the board tonight, I also just wanted to show my face and introduce myself, since we are the company that is going to be owning and operating the system. If there's anything that ever goes wrong, anything that comes up, it'll be my number the board wants to call, and my team will be the one who shows up to answer any questions. So I don't know if anyone else or if y'all need further context about the company, Nexamp as a company, if that's helpful. If not, we can jump right into any questions or comments on the agreements.
And what we will get into the agreement, with this agreement, and Matt's overviewed this obviously over and over. You guys talked with
Correct.
Bob, and I talked to Bob over and over, and then you got the planning board. The town will get $14,126, $14,000, and it can be used for, on the next page, it's your third page, Jim, the fourth page, it tells you what it can be used for. It can be sidewalks, it can be charging stations, it can be bus racks. racks, bike racks, bus shelter, stations where they pick up, public park improvements. So we could do something down at the park for parking improvement down there. Sidewalks, LED street lighting, but it's on that page number 4. You can see what it can be used for. But that's what the town will bring in by signing this agreement. It's $14,126.
Every year?
No,
One time.
one-time payment, and then
One
you
time.
have then you do have the decommissioning thing too that will
Yeah.
play effect. Once it's done in 25
Yep,
years,
absolutely.
whatever years.
Yeah, and to the point, just as far as process is concerned with that environmental contribution, I went back and forth with Bob about this, like how are we gonna handle this? Because it hadn't been done before, here with the town, you guys haven't signed off on one of those agreements, and there was conversations about, okay, what are you guys going to install, or what are you guys going to build? And I wanted to make it abundantly clear that we are not, a public services company. We're more than happy to contribute financially to whatever program that the town deems is the most advantageous use of those funds. Obviously, the environmental contribution section of the solar law outlines those items that you had listed, but we feel it's relatively open-ended. I did promise Dave from Renewa that I would mention that his company does in fact install electric vehicle charging stations as well. And the town, might be interested in pursuing that, and we'd be happy to facilitate that connection with Dave to make sure that you have the right information to move forward with that, if that was what you chose to move forward with. But over and above that, we are a solar services company. We're certainly not great at building sidewalks, so.
Are you a local man?
No, I'm from the Finger Lakes area, so, yeah, do a fair amount of business all over the state, including some other projects here, up in Champlain and elsewhere, but I myself am
We
from.
won't hold that against you.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. You can if you want to.
Finger Lakes is close to North Country, so.
Ish, ish.
Yeah, we'll go.
Any other questions before we go on to the resolutions?
As far as the decommissioning thing, I just want to address that as well, just to make sure we're all on the same page. So what's being proposed here is a $175,000 bond that we are volunteering towards the town as a financial surety for the decommissioning of the system. The surety has no term. It has to exist in perpetuity as long as the system is present. The town will be the sole obligee of said surety. It cannot be used to guarantee any other projects. It cannot be used as collateral in anything else that exists solely with Northway Solar, which is the project LLC for this specific project. So should we move forward and the system be not operational for a period of 12 months consecutively, if I remember correctly, is the stipulation there? Or should we default with the landowner and ultimately no longer have right to the land? The town could call on that decommissioning agreement to remove the system. The language in the plan stipulates that the town can call for a revalue of the decommissioning bond every 5 years, should they want to. So if we end up in a situation where the costs are no longer aligned with what they were 5 years ago, we can have a third-party engineer come in, cost it out, and we will be obligated to renew the bond at the upper amount until the next 5-year review period. So our certificate of occupancy will be contingent upon this bond being in place. We will not be allowed to operate should it ever be removed. So it is definitely a stick that the town has to make sure that everything's moving forward and that the project's operating in a reasonable fashion.
Have you ever had a decommission?
So our company is relatively young compared to the life of these systems. I mean, the components of the system, the most important components of the system, obviously being the panels, have 25-year warranties on them. We've been building systems since 2007. So, we're going to be getting to a point where we can start considering some of those things. But realistically, if the company that issued the panels has to replace them until they're 25 years old, we plan on operating most of these systems 35 years at minimum.
But the panels get so obsolete so quickly now, right?
Not necessarily.
Because they did the first 10 years.
Right, yeah. So what's happened in the solar industry, and you can kind of see this in how some of these projects have moved forward and how they're moving quickly, is that the economies of scale have changed, but the efficiency hasn't necessarily. So where the improvements have come is in bringing down costs, not bringing up efficiency.
Right.
And so that I anticipate to continue. We have obviously seen pretty stark increases in a lot of our material costs over the past 2 years, just like everyone else, and everything else, God bless the person who's trying to build a house right now. But we anticipate that these panels will remain functioning. Just because a faster car comes out doesn't mean yours doesn't get you to work. So we're gonna keep moving forward with this project, and we know exactly, we finance it based on a pretty reliable model of what it'll be producing.
Now, is this a system, Ryan, that's gonna go where people can sign up locally, or just this gonna go right to NYSEG and they do it by second, third parties?
Yeah, so Nexamp is in this case the second and or third party. We are an entity that customers can contract with directly. We have, I think, 45,000 customers and counting right now, and we have a great deal of projects in NYSEG territory. You know, I myself I think we got 6 of them permitted and ready to go last year alone in NYSEG territory. So anybody in this area is eligible to sign up for those benefits now. It wouldn't necessarily be from this project, but it would be from our general pool. And you know, the way energy crediting works, it won't be any more valuable if you got onto this project versus anything else. But we will be operating those contracts. The way it works is NYSEG does ultimately still deliver the power. They still can charge a delivery fee, but the supply fees are zeroed out, and then you pay that to our company, usually at a discount of anywhere from 10 to 15% over what you would have gotten from NYSEG. They're annual contracts with 30-day cancellation policies and no penalties, so they're essentially month-to-month contracts. And if the town wants to opt into those, the town itself as a municipality can also sign on to be an off-taker from this project, should it opt to be, or individual landowners and businesses can sign on in the community as well.
That's good to know.
Yeah. So it's the community solar model in that way. All the energy is produced locally and pumped right into the local grid and can be benefit the local community as much as possible.
I'm sure you heard the horrible cost up here lately.
Yeah.
Our bills.
Yeah. Well,
Some people have got hit. What about 90% of people that I've talked to or got messages on have got hit hard?
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot for sure. But luckily, these costs are levelized. You know, the production is pretty stable, so we feel good about it, and it's been a good model for our customers so far.
Do you do individual residential?
We do not, no. So we used to back in the day.
Don't have any.
Yeah, we used to back in the day, but in New York, we're largely doing systems that are around the same size as this one. So I would say 2.5 to 5 megawatts is kind of where we are in New York at this point.
Gotcha. All right.
Any more questions?
Very good.
Yeah, thank you. I'll leave a few of my cards here as well for everybody if you want to pass them around, just in case anyone has any additional questions. You can give me a holler on my email, my cell phone's on there. And those are pretty easy to get a hold of, so, you know, it shouldn't be an issue.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Okay, so any other community input? No one else signed up, but does anyone else want to speak? No once, no twice. Okay, moving on. Go solar. Okay, number 6, I need a motion and a second for a resolution to accept the acceptance of the public environmental benefit contract with Northway Solar LLC.
Make the motion.
Craig?
Second.
Give it to Jim. Matt, resolution.
I was just gonna ask, but Matt's covered everything, so.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I've one in the town of Plattsburgh, one in Champlain, similar to this. I don't want to say they're form things, but they're pretty close to it. The decommissioning plan is the most important thing. They've got that covered really well. That's basically to make sure that when it's time to get this out of here, you can put the land back into the same or similar condition that it's in the day they go in. That's what the bond is for. The one-time payment is for public benefit. It's supposed to, you're supposed to use that money to do something to benefit as many citizens of the town of Peru as possible. So it's really open-ended how you want to spend that money. That's a standard part of these solar farms. It's a nice benefit the town gets from it. So yeah, I don't have any concerns about this. This came in after that we enacted the new solar zoning law for this purpose, and it's gone very smoothly, I think, because of that. So
Excellent.
Yeah.
if Bob was here, I would tell him good job. Because he's not, don't mention it.
He was only on the board.
It's a good
He
law
wasn't
as well,
running.
yeah.
Ryan, do you have anything to do with the one that's gonna go on Salmon River Road?
I don't believe so. So the projects we have, this project is an active project up here. We have procured a few projects from a company, Borrego Solar, so I can't speak to if it was one of those, because we bought them, and that's kind of a separate arm of the company, but that one doesn't ring a bell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I don't know.
Resolution, Matt.
All right. A resolution approving the agreement between the town of Peru and Northway Solar LLC and authorizing the supervisor to execute the same. Whereas the company proposes to develop and construct a 5-megawatt AC solar facility, a solar project on a portion of land located at 3831 New York State Route 22 within the town of Peru and currently identified as SBL number 257.2-1.33, the property. And whereas on December 8, 2021, the town of Peru Planning Board conditionally approved the solar project subject to providing a public environmental benefit, quote, the agreement, in accordance with the town's solar law. And whereas the applications and approvals for the Moffett Solar Project were assigned to Nexamp Solar LLC, be noticed by Renew Energy to the town dated December 30, 2021. And whereas Northway Solar LLC is a project company and wholly owned subsidiary of Nexamp Solar LLC, created for the sole purpose of constructing and operating solar projects. And whereas pursuant to the town of Peru Solar Law number 1 of 2020, the developer of a tier 3 or 4 solar energy system shall be required to contribute to a public benefit project within the town that facilitates greenhouse gas reduction, energy efficiency, multimodal transportation, ecological diversity, or habitat preservation. And whereas the company has utilized the standard appraisal methodology codified in 2021-2022 New York State budget to determine fair market value for the solar project. And whereas the town council has reviewed and approved the agreement as written. And whereas the company desires to make a one-time monetary contribution to the town in accordance with terms of this agreement for the purposes of facilitating a public benefit project to be determined by the town. Now therefore be it resolved by the town board of the town of Peru that the town accepts the environmental contribution agreement as delivered to the town by Northway Solar LLC on February 17, 2022, and approved by town council on February 17, 2022. Be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Peru authorizes the town supervisor, Brandon McDonald, to sign the agreement, and be it resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately.
Roll call, Brian.
Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
And that benefit, the money the town's getting is based on a percentage of the total project cost, right?
It's based on the full market value of the project, as New York State sets it.
Okay, moving along, number 7. Moving along with the decommissioning. I need a motion and a second for resolution acceptance of the decommissioning plan of Northway Solar LLC.
I'll make it.
Rick?
Second.
Greg Bruno?
A resolution for the acceptance of the decommissioning plan from Northway Solar LLC, whereas the company proposes to develop and construct a 5-megawatt AC solar facility and solar project on a portion of land located at 3831 New York State Route 22, within the town of Peru and currently identified as SBL number 257.2-1.33, the property. And whereas on December 8, 2021, the town of Peru Planning Board conditionally approved the solar project. And whereas the solar project is eligible for a building permit subject to providing a decommissioning plan, in accordance with the town's solar law. And whereas the applications and approvals for the Moffett Solar Project were assigned to Nexamp Solar LLC, be noticed by Renew Energy to the town dated December 30th, 2021. And whereas Northway Solar LLC is a project company and wholly owned subsidiary of Nexamp Solar LLC, created for the sole purpose of constructing and operating the solar project. And whereas pursuant to the town of Peru Solar Law number 1 of 2020, the developer of a tier 3 or 4 solar energy system shall be required to sign a decommissioning plan and provide a surety for the decommissioning of the solar project. And whereas the town council has reviewed and approved the decommissioning plan and proposed surety as written, now therefore be it resolved by the town board of the town of Peru that the town accepts the decommissioning plan and proposed surety is delivered to the town of Northway Solar LLC on January 21st, 2022, and approved by town council on February 21st, 2022. Be it further resolved, the town board of the town of Peru authorizes the town supervisor, Brandon McDonald, to sign the agreement, and be it resolved this resolution shall take effect immediately.
Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes. Brian, quick question on that.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
could ask this before. Do you guys own the property or is this someone locally owns it?
We are leasing the property.
You're leasing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a initial 25-year lease with then subsequent extensions that can go out to 40, should we opt to do so.
Okay.
It's so far off the road, you're not gonna be able to see it anyway.
Oh, no, you're not gonna be able to see this thing at all. It's,
I know
it's,
exactly where it's going.
yeah, it's nestled back there, surrounded by trees on all sides, no one will even know it's there.
Yep.
Except for that driveway to get back there will be a little nicer than it is now.
You might, once you get up to the top of the hill and look back there, you might be able to see it,
Yeah,
maybe,
maybe.
maybe.
Okay, number 8, moving along. Resolution discussion, emergency purchase of Brentwood Industry wastewater treatment plant tank number 1. Courtney, you wanted that on here, on that one? Yep. Discuss it, anything before resolution or no?
Yeah, what makes it an emergency?
What's that?
What makes it an emergency?
That we're having issues with the current equipment. If it fails, fire
want that to fail.
No, if it fails, we're in trouble. They've been having problems with it. Okay, so I need a motion and a second for the resolution for that.
Make the motion.
Craig?
No, sir.
No?
Resolution of the town board of the town of Peru, the county of Clinton, state of New York, making an emergency purchase of Polychem chain and flight equipment without using competitive bidding. Whereas section 64, sub 3 of the town law of the state of New York empowers the town board of the town of Peru, Clinton County, New York, the town to manage, maintain, and control town property and assets as the purposes the town may require. Whereas the town board has received a request from the town water superintendent to purchase a Polychem chain and flight equipment for the wastewater treatment facility tank number 1 on an expedited basis without using a competitive process. Whereas the town board finds that this purchase is necessary on an expedited basis because the current wastewater treatment plant tank number 1, if left in its current condition and fails to result in restricted capacity and inadequate treatment of incoming wastewater, and must match the existing equipment on the wastewater treatment plant tank number 2 for system to work most efficiently. Whereas the estimated total purchase price of the Polychem Solutions chain and flight equipment for the wastewater treatment plant tank number 1 will be $55,900. And it is hereby resolved by the town board of the town of Peru in regular session that the town water sewer supervisor is hereby allowed to purchase the Polychem Solutions chain and flight equipment for the wastewater treatment plant number 1 tank at an estimated cost of $55,900. And he shall do so as soon as possible. This resolution shall take effect immediately and shall be dated February 28, 2022.
I'm guessing, Courtney, that's probably who we have in there already.
On the other side, tank 2, yes.
In tank 2.
Yeah, so it'd be matching equipment.
Do they have a time frame?
No.
No.
Now, they have to go through their engineering. If it was like the other tank, it takes quite a while.
Is that the one that you got down in and replaced all the parts in? You guys do the same with this one?
Yeah.
Same thing as the other one. Okay. Roll call, right?
Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes. Okay, number 9, another resolution. I need a motion and a second to acceptance of the amendment of Tedford Consulting contract for the sewer upgrade project.
Yep, I'll make the motion.
Craig made the motion.
Second.
Jim Douglas. Resolution.
The resolution approving the amended contract of Liz Tedford with Tedford Consulting for the Peru Sewer Collection Upgrade Project. Whereas the Town of Peru Sewer Collection System Upgrade Project was funded in part by USDA Rural Development, RD. And whereas RD requires a board resolution to amend any contract for administrative tasks set forth in a Form E project budget document. Whereas due to the extended time frame for the project, it is necessary to increase contract amount for Tedford Consulting to cover costs not to exceed $39,763. Whereas the Form E line A.5 bookkeeping and reporting is not necessary for those tasks as they are being performed by Tedford Consulting under line A.4 fiscal coordination. Therefore, be resolved that Form E line A.5 be reduced to $0 and those funds be added to the town's contract with Tedford Consulting under Form E line A.4 fiscal coordination without increasing project costs, and therefore be it resolved that the town hereby approves the amended contract with Tedford Consulting, and be it resolved this resolution shall take effect immediately.
Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Save us money and get us money.
Okay, number 10. And our last resolution, I hope, right? Remember this too.
I'll be this.
Okay, and then a motion and a second to reappoint Mark Lukens to the planning board.
Make it.
Jim Douglas,
Second.
Rick Barber, Diane.
A resolution approving the reappointment of Mark Lukens to the Town of Peru Planning Board, whereas the Peru Town Planning Board has recommended that Mark Lukens be reappointed to the Town Planning Board through December 31st, 2028, and therefore be it resolved the Peru Town Board agrees with the recommendation of the Planning Board and reappoints Mark Lukens to a 7-year term effective January 1, 2022 through December 31, 2028, and be it resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes. Very long. Number 11, Elm Street project schedule.
Elm Street, alternate went out to bid over the weekend. The pre-bid conference is March 8th at 1, and bid openings will be March 22nd at 10.
So March 8th at 1.
the pre-bid conference.
Yep.
The bid opening's on March 22nd at 10.
So I have March 8th, 10 a.m. Lagoon, is that something different?
March 8th, 10 a.m. is the bid opening for the lagoon.
Lagoon.
This is March 8th.
The 22nd is wrong.
22nd is wrong?
February 22nd.
Oh, yeah, I got that. You said March 8th.
I know what that is.
All right, thank you, man.
Anything else, Courtney? Okay, moving along, number 12, youth committee bylaws. Mel, you wanted that on here?
Yeah, John, last meeting, or Brian, either one, or whoever, last meeting we had, there was a bylaw change on there. That meeting was, you know, obviously we lost Margaret, came back to it. I just wanted to know more about what this bylaw change was.
The bylaw change is changing the number of members on the youth commission from 9 to 7. Over the past year, we've lost 4 members from our youth commission, and we've only gained 2 spots. With that, there's only 7 people on there, and if we keep the bylaws at 9, if 2 people miss or 3 people are missing, we are not able to have a meeting because we do not have the required number of people for a quorum.
Your quorum there is 50%.
I believe it still is.
I think so, yeah. My thought is, you know, with more people on there, you know, there's more people that you have working with you. You know, if we can find you 2 members, 2 more people that meet with your, you know, what you want.
Right now, they're not knocking the door down.
What?
They're not knocking the door down to total right now.
I did have a list of more people that were looking at it. We've just put 2 more on, and personally, I'd like to let this sit for a year and see if we can't get you 2 more people in short term. And
Have those 2 people been approved by the town board? I haven't seen that.
Yes, it was approved last meeting.
They were? Okay,
Yep,
'cause I
yep.
missed that, sorry.
Yep.
But that's a minimum number now anyways. It's not a maximum number.
yeah.
Okay.
If you guys don't mind, I'd like personally,
Well, right,
like
I
to
mean-
sit for a year.
but right now, it's going to be a violation of that. We don't-
Yeah, absolutely, we can't let it sit, you guys, you're right.
So,
It needs to be brought to 7 so that it's a quorum if they don't, because they don't have 9 right now.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go, we can.
Are you guys advertising on the website for anything like that, for new members?
It is advertised on the group website, and then we put it on our Facebook page.
What?
Yeah, we have to change it, and you're absolutely right, because we keep it at 9, then they don't have a quorum if too many people miss.
Not just trying to think of a way of wording it differently, maybe a majority of the members that are presently on, maybe, or something.
So how many members do you have right now, without these 2 approvals that we just talked about?
5.
We had
So now we're up to
7.
7.
So we're up to 7, yeah.
Could we put the word
You
active
could always,
members?
you could always just say, you know, as long as
50% of the-
as long as the majority of active members are present in the meeting, that constitutes a quorum. So if you have 7 members, you need 4, if you have 8 members, you need 5. You could do it that way too. So you're not locked into a specific number, that way if your membership changes a little bit, you
Yeah,
can still have a
like
quorum and not have to worry about that. Because that's one potential workaround of this, to try to leave it where it is, but also be able to have meetings.
It'd still be 50%, but it'd be of active members, which, that way if you get 12, then you got a 7. If you get, you know, go down to 5, you need 3.
So you want to keep the same number but change the wording?
Yeah, I mean, keep it so that you want 9 members, but a quorum would be, so long as 51% of active members are present at any meeting, that's a quorum. So if you have 7 active members, and as long as you have 4 at that meeting, you're good. If you have 8 members, you need 5. If you have 9 members, you know, you could word it that way, so as your membership changes, the amount necessary for a quorum could change with that top number, so you're not always having to change the number of members you need.
Still 50%.
That's just one way to do it. Then you don't have, obviously you don't have.
Are we still in violation of that if it says we need 9 members and we
That's
have
what we would
7?
change. That's what we would change. We would leave.
Because you're
active.
saying of active. The fire department does it the same way. Our membership constantly fluctuates, but we have to have, depending on what you're voting on, 51% or 2/3 of the active membership. So if you have 9 spots, but you only have 7 active, at that point, you're going off 7. If you go up to 8, you go off 8. You don't have to have 9. We have a roster of 50. We never have 50 members. We're usually in the 40s. but it constantly fluctuates. Every month, you got people getting out. Getting
What
in.
they're saying though, Courtney, I think is, they have a line here that says the commission should consist of at least 9 members. So if they only have 7 members, are they in violation of that guidance?
Oh.
So could we just get rid of that clause and just put 50% active, 51% of active members? And get rid of the 9, get rid of the 7?
You want to say 50, just majority?
Simple.
Well, for a quorum, you want it to be a majority. The question is, how many members, what do you want to do about total membership? You don't want it to drop to like.
Keep it open.
Right, but I was saying,
Yeah.
you don't want it to drop to 3, so you don't want to just say, I think you want something in there, like the zoning board, one of the zoning board of planning were reduced a couple of years ago because we could never get a quorum.
From 7 to 5.
But I think you want a bottom number in there, so you can't drop below
So,
the.
yeah, so I
certain
get what you're saying about the changing the language to at
Right.
least 50% of active members to form a quorum.
But that's a minimum number anyway, so you could change it
Right.
to 7
Right.
instead of 9.
And
Still
still
do
do
50% active
Exactly.
members.
And we could still have 11 members or 13 members at some point.
Right. No, I see what you're saying. The way that's listed now, having 9 members, like, I understand what you're saying. So you're not having a problem of active members getting to meetings, you're having a problem of just getting enough active members to get up to the 9.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on
Depending.
on the time of the year. You know, sometimes in the fall, you know, I officiate soccer, I officiate high school football. We have a couple other people who have other commitments. Sometimes we're missing two or three people.
Yeah,
It's not often, but
I would recommend that if you're gonna change one, you change them both, just so you don't run into that problem. So if membership fluctuates, you can still have meetings that can produce something that makes sense and get work done.
And the goal here is to get more, as far as I'm concerned, to get more people on your board. You know, I think that would help you in, covering the
Well,
territory.
yeah, but it's just as important to have the right number of people at the meeting too.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, but
But-
if we could get some people that, you know, you said Mel, you had a couple, and
Yeah.
I know somebody asked me one time, so, I mean, you could stay, go ahead, you could stay with 7, but if we could get 9, 2 more or whatever, like you say, Brian, they aren't breaking the door down, you know, but,
Yeah, I wouldn't go below 7, I think that's a good number.
yeah,
You know, say minimum 7, and then change your quorum rules to be, you know, at least 50% of active members present
Active
to
members.
constitute a quorum.
But
That way, if you have 10 members, you need at least 5. So you've always got at least a good group represented.
but you wouldn't be against having 9 or 10 if you could get more volunteers.
Oh,
No,
that would be great.
we last year we had 9, and like I said, we lost 4.
Right.
We're in place too.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, from my point of view, the more people we have, you know, the better it is for everybody.
That's my point.
More coaches?
Yeah.
Well,
Board members seem to do a lot of coaching, don't they?
Coach, yeah, so.
So are we gonna switch it then to 7? Matt was thinking, so why is that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
as long as they don't.
They have to
Switch
do
it to 7, but we also change that wording in there.
But they have to do it
50%
first.
active
I was gonna
members.
say, is that something we have to do or the next?
Well, they have to do it.
Yes, and then we gotta switch that to the minimum of 50% of active members.
So you guys switch both and then present it to this board, and then they bless it, and then you go.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
Anything else? Good.
You skate?
Okay. Okay, number 13, Hayworth Mason Park Bell Tower Design. We have a design in front of us. Rick, Craig, you guys wanna talk about it? You guys
Not
are
anymore.
on the main project of it?
I went over and talked to Rick today. He came up with this sketch. He went online and looked at many different bell towers that have, of course, some are pretty ornate. He said, I said, I just so trying to keep it as simple as we can and keep the cost down. He came up with this. Jefford Steel already donated the steel for it, so we're good there, most of the steel for it. Rick also said that he will donate $500 of his labor on this project
All right.
today. He said, I'm glad you asked me. He said, I agree with you. I'd really like to hear that down there, because everybody used to years ago. So I said, well, you don't have to. He says, I do more if we can afford more, but he says I can't. And he said, I will do that.
Is this going, I see he has mounting plates. Is it going to be mounted? Is it not going in the ground? Is it 9 feet kind of high?
This is 2 tiers. This first tier will be mounted to a base, I'm assuming. And then we'll put the top, we'll bolt on, the 4 feet 6 inches we'll bolt on after.
How do you bring it? Because it's gonna be 14, 13 feet in the air.
It'll be 9 feet in the air.
9 plus 4.
Right, the
Bell
bottom,
fits up in here.
Bell fits up in that.
the
bell fits
bell's
in.
Down to the 9 feet.
Bells going on these things on the top.
on the top.
Push it hang down,
Correct.
Hang down.
down to the 9 feet.
The bottom of the bell.
Was that big, 4 feet,
What's that?
the bell?
No. No, you, at 4 feet high, the guys could sit in a bucket and put the bell in the cradle.
I got you.
Okay.
But I mean, it's still, the bell's only about 2 feet.
Yeah, it's
So
probably,
what-
Big 30
It'll be
inches.
12 feet in
Big
the
30
air.
inches, I
What's
think
that?
it was when we.
Yeah, so it'll be 12 feet in
no,
the air.
it's in my garage.
Oh, it is,
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, what I was saying to Rick today was, after Courtney takes a look at these, we get some old culverts from Mike,
Sonotube it?
sonotube it, however big, maybe we could talk to the engineer. How big do we need them to hold this thing? It's not like it's going to want to swing, because the bell only weighs about 60 pounds. My thing was, we put it in, put it at ground level, and then I've all mentioned to everybody, pour some kind of patio, and maybe we can put one of those benches that we have that are on the walking trail next to it, with the sign next to it, how it was constructed.
So it's not 3D, is there 4 legs or just 2?
There's 4 legs.
Okay.
There's 4 legs.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, 4 legs, they're 6 feet apart, and then the cross bracing will be throughout all sides.
Sides of the 4 sides.
So it can't twist.
I'm just thinking that it would go in the ground better than it would be on a sonotube, wouldn't it? We can do sonotubes, but you want to make sure your anchor bolts are in the tube when you pour it, you know?
We don't even have to do that. This bottom part of it is probably gonna weigh somewhere around 650 pounds.
Yeah, maybe.
Rick figured out the whole thing today, what the whole thing's gonna weigh. It's just a little bit less than 1,000 pounds.
So just drill some anchors.
Mike could go down there with the machine, lift it up, and set it. Figure out where the legs are gonna go on the sonotubes. We could drill them, pick it back up, bring it over here to the side, drill it, put the mollies in,
Yeah.
bring it back over, set it back on, and screw it onto the bases
I can tell you where the legs are gonna go on the sonotube, in the center.
in the center.
Supposed to.
Supposed
That's
to,
where they need to go.
but we figure out how big the tubes have to be and how deep they've gotta go, and
Yeah.
pour some concrete. If everybody likes what we're doing.
I like it.
Good.
I'm the second one to bring it. I'll let you have honors.
Okay.
Where's this going?
Down to Hayworth.
Where?
Right in
Where?
the
For a
middle-
long bit.
The middle of the circle.
Where the garden is, right in front of it.
Okay. Okay.
And it's a bell that was down there back in the,
Actually, the bell was, do you remember the Hayworth house?
No.
You don't. The Hayworth house sat in front of the Grand Union. You know where the second driveway comes out now?
the one that goes down, straight down.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Okay.
that basically was the driveway to the house. And it sat right there on that lawn. And the Hayworths owned from the 22 all the way up to Dashnock. There was an apple orchard in there, and down below, and there was, I don't know how, they had 100 chickens. They had, the farm was on top of the hill, and down below the hill was the sawmill, which was the Hayworths originally, and the starch factory.
Mm-hmm.
And they sent starch all over the eastern seaboard, I believe. Link Sunderland, in his book, said there was hundreds of thousands of pounds of potatoes that they processed through there and sent starch out from Peru to, I would assume, major cities. The bell was in the top of the house. And what they did was, every afternoon, as part of the men's pay, was they were fed for lunch. And that bell sounded every afternoon for everybody to come in and eat.
About what years was this?
Oh my God. my great-great-great-great-grandfather founded the town in 1792, and that, they were always there. I can't tell you, John.
We have the original bell.
We have the original bell.
Yeah.
Where's that been?
I own it.
He has it
Oh.
now, but it took years to get back here.
It was in the basement.
It was
It
in the
was
basement for
basement,
quite a
everything,
while.
yeah.
But it took us years before that to get it.
Oh, okay.
Al used to ring it when he was a kid.
Because wasn't it missing for a while?
My father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have it now.
No,
Anything else on?
I'm happy that project's going so good.
No. And the thing is, on the bench, like Rick was saying too, I think we definitely put some of the Tedford steel in there to thank them, obviously, for the steel that's so expensive right now. And then for Rick, and different people that are invested in this.
So far, we've got Arnold's Fabrication, we've got Tedford Steel, K&S Body Works has offered to paint it. I haven't talked to them yet on cost. So if we're gonna do a sign, I would think we would do it for.
Yeah, as long as people donate things to it
Yeah.
within, a reasonable amount,
Yeah,
that we will have their name on this
yeah,
plaque or a bench or something. I'd say a bench would be nice.
so
Yeah.
I haven't been down there. I talked to Keenan at K&S, and he said they would be more than willing to paint this. Now, that was another thing I'd like to bring up. Rick said, if you just let it oxidize on its own, after a fashion, it will quit oxidizing and you won't get any more rust that will come off. Originally, at the start, you will. He said, if you choose to paint it,
Right off.
then what's gonna happen is you're going to have a maintenance there forever.
How long do they think it might have to sit?
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
I don't know. I don't know.
Because you don't want it looking like.
I
hate
would
to say it,
definitely go
I
with
don't
a
like.
direct to metal paint on this project. And
That's why I'm
I just
asking.
hate to see rust in someone that should look nice, look
he's
like
talking
crap for
old
a year.
school, I can tell you that. They make a lot better product than they used to back when he used to probably do it.
And maybe talk to the KNS
Oh,
on that.
I'm sure.
Talk to find out a little more on that.
Okay.
I hate something. It's just me, I'm sure Craig
Yeah,
feels
no,
the
I
same.
don't wanna
I
see
hate
it
that
rusty.
old look and that rusty look of someone that should look nice
Yeah,
right off.
Yeah.
Could be a year, could be 2 years.
and if we gotta send one of the guys down to
Touch it up here.
touch it up, we'll do that.
Yeah, Courtney
Maybe
already
we get some
volunteered, so-
graffiti cans, you know.
Okay.
Another target for the boys to hit.
No. Okay. Anything else? Next, number 14, Hayward Nathan Park stage cover. Rick, that'd be you and me on that, but I'll let you talk about it.
Well, I don't wanna be caught behind the 8 ball again with just the little tent that we threw over it last year so that the musicians have some kind of cover. I got a hold of Pam, I said, I'd like to figure out and get this in motion before everybody's really so busy they can't do it. Do we want to put a tent over the top of it? Do we want to have something custom made that goes over the stage? That's up to the board.
So what's the problem with the metal roof?
Right now, what we're having a problem with,
Because the stage is still movable whether there's a roof on it or not. It's not, the stage isn't permanent.
the stage is not permanent, and the problem is, if you put a roof on it, we gotta figure out if it's movable quickly, if it was still to flood down there.
As long as we
It's still-
say it is, it
It's
is.
still, no, it's still, believe me, I've talked to the people at the county.
Who's gonna say it's not? It's not in the ground, it's on the ground. It's movable. It's just harder to move.
Put a train on one
I mean, they
side.
move houses down the road, they can move a stage.
Yeah. It
Now
just,
you could-
they don't wanna see a permanent thing until we get
Right.
out of the flood zone down
I
there.
understand that. When you jack it up, you.
And we're hoping, but then again, look at our trail, it took, 5 years to finally get that. That part is what I'm talking about, what's his name? Cutler, Carter? No, the guy's last name. Glenn Cutter. Half of down there to the right, they're trying to get out of flood stage because they know it's not.
Uh-huh.
But it could be a period of 3 to 5 years. It took 5 years for a walking trail. They're trying to get it out because they know it's not. They still have not had it out. So like, I don't like be on the camera with this, but the thing is, you don't wanna keep building stuff for someone to draw attention to call the state, because if they do, then it will have to be removed. So, we just gotta be careful how much we do on this stage.
Okay.
Until it's
But as
Until
long
it's
as long as
changed.
it's a removable item, it shouldn't be an issue though, Randy.
As long as it doesn't keep growing, like you said, because,
We're putting a roof on
yeah,
it,
in all reality, what we have down there might be a little bit too much already.
seriously.
Yes.
Would there be a difference between, say, a canvas top versus a steel permanent top?
Yes. Something that's removable, portable,
Yeah.
they're not gonna have an issue with.
No, and that's,
The
me
question's
and,
gonna be, is it anchored to the ground?
yeah, me and Rick went down last year to a restaurant down in Willsboro Bay.
Yes.
And I can tell you, that canopy stuff, it's lightweight, really lightweight,
Mhm.
and it looks unbelievable. We went down to a restaurant that has a really nice one that a company made out of Vermont there,
Yeah,
right?
Otter Creek County.
Yeah, and they do a great job, and that is lightweight. so that-
Guaranteed for how many years?
Oh, God, I think the woman told us it was 20 years, the one that's on the restaurant down there.
Tell you how much it was.
Was it?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a
That
huge
was-
one.
That was
That's
expensive,
huge.
it was huge.
It's
It
huge,
goes all
yes.
around their
It
building.
goes around the whole building on the lake.
Otter Peak is expensive, I mean, we're gonna have to get Foster to do a bid too, you know, there's a bunch of places.
Sure,
that-
absolutely.
But as long as it's lightweight, I don't think we're gonna have a problem. If it's permanently in the ground, we cannot do it right now, until we get
Yeah,
the
okay.
approval.
I'm fine. Get some prices on it.
I think we should start though, like Rick said before, you know, 'cause, I mean, we keep drawing more and more crowds down there. and
Oh, yeah, it's
Wait
great.
till the week before.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
We need
That's
parking.
what- Right.
Hey, look
Make a
at,
parking lot.
look at that $300 one I picked up last year. It worked,
certainly
it worked
does.
perfect.
Now,
It did.
do we, and this was, I talked to Pam today, I said, I realize you organize the concerts and everything. I said, do we go with something like an awning that's custom made for this? Or do we go with, and the town buys a tent to go over the top of the whole thing? We just leave it set up all summer?
We did the tent.
I don't know, I kinda like the awning.
Yeah, the
Really
tent's
good.
gonna start interfering with acoustics, I would think.
I mean, last year worked perfect what we had. I mean, that $339 one worked really
I
good.
mean, it would
honestly.
probably be nice if something flipped over and came down the back of the sides or it's
Well, yeah,
raining, but I mean,
yeah.
you're talking more money for temporary structure. I don't
Bigger
know,
issue
Whatever,
is-
get some prices, man, we'll see how it flies.
So we get some prices, and
Okay.
if not, we go with this. I mean, if we can't come up with something that's
Yeah.
not gonna be, 10,000 plus, we go with something like we had last year. I mean, that worked perfect last year. It had that tail on the back where the equipment was. It rained, as we know, a couple of times.
Where's that?
The bigger
Still
issue
got it.
though is what we're gonna do with electricity down there.
There's somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah, we-
we gotta find out where the guys did it when it
It's
after.
either
backyard, right?
It's either in the building down there or it's at the general.
But that worked out really good.
Yeah, it worked out good. Went up easy.
What are your thoughts on moving that electricity? Put a junction box in, move that closer to the
Yeah,
stage?
I just didn't want to do it until we're absolutely sure that's where we're staying.
I think it's a great location.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it worked out
Not
really good
turning
last
in Or
year.
anything.
I mean, when it was
wherever it is.
93, 95 degrees at one time, it was a little hot that first week because the sun was right there, but how often do we get it?
But we'll have to dig up that walking trail in order to get that moved over, put a junction box in where it is.
It's not digging up much though, it's just, I mean, you're talking a little wire, it's only 12 gauge wire,
Yeah.
Size of a pinky.
What's that?
12 gauge.
Just
That's
gonna,
why you sell the stuff.
what are you gonna put over?
You have to put
50?
conduit in the ground in a municipality?
It'll be at least that big of a ditch, because,
That's how big the bucket is.
yeah. It's not even a shovel.
Yeah,
Yeah, you act like this is a monster, the wire's the size of my thumb for 50 amp, so,
Hey,
you know.
this is a municipality, you gotta go above and beyond.
What,
I we don't pay them prevailing wages.
what do we think in parking lot, Mike? Still on discussion, what are your thoughts?
I don't know what to come up with. I know there's a bunch of drainage in there, we gotta stay away from that. It's gotta be designed where you don't run over those are plastic covers. They're all right for a lawnmower, but they will not hold a vehicle. And those structures were special ordered, they took a long time, and I believe they were almost $1,000 a piece, so.
Is it something if we did ones in dust and graded it to those and put metal covers over it, that a possibility?
I hate to drain the ones in dust that way, because then you're
put
gonna,
in the river.
if it runs, you gotta downpour, that's where it's
Gotta
going.
go to the river.
Item 4,
Tarmac?
item 4.
Well,
I
tarmac,
got four of them too, though, the
Yeah.
fines out of that.
tarmac would be ideal, but I don't know how much,
Yeah, I don't
set it
know
for
what
you.
year. Tarmac, 'cause that's wet, or part of the flood.
No, out in front of that building, we're okay.
Out in the front is we're okay.
Which way's the front, facing the road or facing the field?
Facing the road.
Road, it's all after the
Yeah.
That's
How much-
different law.
How many tons of millings do we still got left?
There's quite a few.
Something we can use for that?
We got some found money tonight, so 14,000, so, and that's just, this, you know,
Maybe we can have Ryan.
parking lot, it does say parking lots on there, lighting down there.
Improvement.
Yeah.
are all up at the community.
Barney Dams, dump site.
That's one way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
But
one.
we can have more discussion on that.
That would work. It won't run?
Not one center rolled in.
Perfect.
That runs in.
Because that's, you know, we need more parking down there.
We're flooded again.
Where people don't have to go down there every weekend and try to organize the parking as much.
It's ground pavement.
Yeah. We got lucky last year, it wasn't wet most of the time.
Yeah.
No, last year we were really lucky, but that's, you're not gonna get that every year, and I think, you know, we'll run into trouble. I mean, it worked out really good last year. I mean, everyone came in, they went out the one way, and it worked out.
That's definitely the way to do it.
Yeah.
In and out. Into the right, up to the left.
Yep. Okay. Anything else on that? Okay, moving forward, sewer project update, Courtney.
Nothing really going on other than electricians are working at Main Lane.
Still?
Still.
Sounds
Holy
good.
moly.
I'm on
Wow.
it.
What kind of card games they got going on in
Everything
there?
else is on hold.
Is there heat in that building?
They put a tarp over it, and a propane heater in there.
Yeah, it's not a building, it's a town.
Well, seems to be pretty comfortable in it.
Anything else?
Maybe that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Other business, Rick.
Well, I'd probably like to bring this up in executive session.
Okay, so you're gonna call for executive session?
Yeah.
Okay, for what purpose?
Personnel.
Litigation, pending litigation?
It's- The decision's gotta be made by this board, at Hayworth Mason Park.
So, you wanna find out what it is and then figure out what's that?
Yeah.
Okay, you and I will talk for a second.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what.
There's no chocolate in it.
Can we go on to somebody else while we wait for him?
We'll wait for him.
Oh, no, it's his toes.
It shouldn't be long, I'm sure, one thing.
He's not trying to sell that bell now, is he?
Yeah, the man only works when the sun
Yeah,
is
you're
out,
being
man.
taped
He's
right
tired. I don't know what he's still doing here.
I'm good. I got a 5.5 hour drive home. I'm not doing that tonight.
Got any good fishing up that
I'm
way?
sticking around. What?
Got any good fishing up there? You're sticking around?
I'm sticking
You
around.
you married?
Yeah.
You got a girlfriend local?
Not yet, man.
Don't you around here? Turn it
Oh,
on.
God.
Don't answer that.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man, I was all pumped up to throw punches.
So basically what Rick said, or just table the executive session?
Not sure what he said.
Well, I'm not motion to go in there, I'm motion to go out.
Neither am I.
No, there was
No,
no, that's not, we didn't go in, we didn't go in, they
Oh,
spoke
okay.
of how it should be worded,
Oh, okay, okay,
it's off the table.
Other business, I'm fine.
okay, now.
Any other business?
I'm nervous.
Other business?
I'm good.
Diane?
I'm good.
Only other business I have, as you can know, if you're vaccinated, no mask is needed inside the town or the buildings. If you're unvaccinated, you should wear them. If you don't, it is what it is, because we're not gonna ask people, it is what it is. The doors will be unlocked starting tomorrow. There hasn't been a time sheet for the last week and a half. There's more time sheet coming in, signed. So basically, if you're unvaccinated, please wear your mask when you come in. If you're not, you know, it is what it is. That's as of today. It can change, obviously, we know. With time, probably in a couple weeks, it probably will go backwards the other way because everything else getting unmasked, but let's hope not. Rick, anything?
I just wanna know when the concerts start.
Last week of June,
That's what
last
that's what I
weekend of
thought.
June.
Last weekend of June.
Rick said that he can have this done
By then?
for the first concert.
Okay, good, awesome. I don't think I have anything else yet.
I'm good.
No,
Just seeing this, Tom Lavin, Adirondack Regional Theater. They're scheduled to use that stage, I assume.
They're probably gonna have too many, so they will, if the board approves them to use the area, they'll be in front of it. Because I think they've got like 40 kids. Yeah, 40 participants, and they're not all gonna fit on that stage, so. Or they'll bring their own side things too, so,
Expanding. That's-
yeah.
That's July 16th.
Yeah. They will be charging, but they are a nonprofit.
that's a
So-
Saturday too.
Yes, I told them absolutely no Sundays. So,
How can they charge?
they can ask for donations, I guess.
They can ask for
or-
donations, but they can't charge somebody to go into our park, right?
I don't believe they can charge, but they can ask for donations.
Yeah,
We have
I-
people that are gonna walk the park or trail, they go down there, say you gotta pay.
Yeah, yeah, they can ask for donations, we just gotta make sure they can ask, but I don't believe
I don't know how, I don't know how to regulate that.
It says, is there an admission fee, and they said yes.
so we gotta find out about that to make sure that,
If they wanted to put up like bleachers and charge, you get
To
a
sit on.
seat on the bleacher to sit on, but if they're having people sit on town of Peru's lawn or grass or whatever, I don't know how they can charge for that.
They're
They'll
gonna
give us
sell,
some
they're
of
gonna, my son has acted with them before, they're gonna sell tickets to watch that show.
How, what if you stand farther, I mean, and then they got like a roped off area where you can stand and watch it?
This is the first time I believe they've ever done it out like
Outside.
this.
Right.
Now, they
Yeah, they
did
do it
have
up
one,
in Rouse's Point in
well,
Champlain.
they did have one, we went, my wife.
they are a nonprofit, just remember that, though, that's the
They
only
have
good thing,
one
they need like
on
someone
the
like to have a
stage.
band down there.
Down
They're saying if somebody's going down there to walk or something, they're gonna say, you gotta pay, you know?
Yeah,
Plus, I mean, if they have a specific area that you could sit in, like it's stacked, something like that, I just don't know how they regulate the area that large for people that are just
Yeah.
going through it or not. Maybe they need to, somebody from this theater might need to come to a board meeting and kind of with a sketch, what's your plan, what are you gonna do, how are you gonna do this, how are you gonna enforce it, and those kind of things, and how are you gonna not interrupt other people that wanna use the park for other activities.
Because we know Saturdays
Just so we
are
know,
busy.
just so we can provide the information to everybody else.
Like Rick said, I'm guessing they're probably gonna cordon off an area.
100 feet or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't think to ask
It'd be
that.
better if they came.
We asked them to come to the next board meeting,
Okay,
the 14th, right, it's 14th, is it 14th?
yeah.
Yeah.
March 14th.
I just don't wanna see them stopping people on the road, so yeah, you gotta pay to come in here. right?
No, because
No,
people
I
are gonna
don't
go
think
in and out of there all the
like
time.
that.
on Saturday.
Because they would be, there's the dog park and,
Yes.
you know.
So we got time, I mean, it's not until
Yeah.
July, so basically this was only other business anyways, so we won't act on this until we have more details.
Oh, cool.
No, anything else? Greg?
I don't know who the elves were that came in and did the bulletin board over, but it looks fabulous. They are fabulous
Little
people.
Miss Diane.
Yipper.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Those look nice.
You're very welcome.
True blue.
I told him I'd been there years.
Before it was
ago.
100%.
I
And
think
all
she
that-
needs to go and jump off.
And all at her own cost.
Yeah, I did
It is
hear
nice.
that.
Well, when you forget to call to make sure it's okay. I've already gotten stuff in the car. Oh, hi, Grant, I forgot
Looks
to
great.
ask.
Yeah, she asked me
I said-
after it was already done.
Yeah.
I said, I
I
can't
came in
speak,
and I said, who paid for that? Well, I did.
because I didn't ask before, I
You know,
thought
I'm
they
just-
were.
Think that she
I'm
should.
thinking of this back to this theater production. If groups are gonna keep using that area, they're starting using it more, as you build it up a little more too, you're gonna wanna start thinking about permitting fees. For any group that goes down there, I mean, regardless of who's going down there, the town's gotta go mow, clean up stuff, empty trash, there's costs involved, so something to be thinking about, just because otherwise, you're just gonna get run over. I mean, I'm sure the city does it with the band shell and events like the Mayor's Cup, I know food vendors pay permitting fees, so it's a discussion that's gonna have to start pretty soon. It's great that it's getting popular, you don't want it high enough where it's gonna stop people from using it, but it's also gotta be where just anybody can't just go down and set up whatever.
Yeah, it's true. Courtney's guys do will have to pick up a
Which
lot.
Well,
also,
Courtney's down
also
there every
brings up
week,
the
right, forward to
hometown
me.
market.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying.
Well, that's what we're gonna have to discuss.
They've got insurance already on their own, right?
Well, they got
I'm just talking
insurance.
about permit
Well,
fees.
Yeah, anybody that goes down there better have insurance. I'm just talking about the ability to use the space, to use the
gotta have
space
permits.
with the town's blessing.
Yeah, it makes sense, definitely.
Because
It doesn't have to be a lot, 45, 75 bucks.
Well, we have to find out what the other towns are charging, because like Matt said, if not, you're gonna get people to keep using it, making money out. I mean, some people are non-profit, some people are are profitable, obviously, we know that. So we gotta figure out,
All right, find out, look into that, Brendan.
we are gonna look into it.
Cool,
Yeah.
good idea, Matt.
And it'd be nice to know like what your two company, where you guys, when somebody wants to use down there, what does it take for you guys to get ready, garbage, just an overall, just an idea. What's it, if somebody's gonna be down there for like this production,
They do it weekly anyway, so.
But I gotta think there's an increased cost specifically if groups are going down there. I mean, every time we have somebody down there.
Definitely
We're
more
asking
garbage.
Mike or Courtney's crew to go down there and do something extra every time, so there's
Every
gotta be
time.
some increased cost.
Definitely more
And
garbage.
if any Courtney and his guys, it's us.
You just wanna be able to recoup
We
that
don't
at
get
some
paid.
point.
No, I know, but
Not
I'm
only
saying
that,
it's us.
Matt, but now, the farmer's market didn't use any power, the vendors had generators.
Mhm.
But if they're gonna use that stage, they're gonna wanna use power. And the
Right,
power-
right.
the power-
But as soon as you start using town resources and you're not getting something back, you're getting goodwill back, and that's great. But if you're kind of gifting public funds to entities and maybe, you don't look at anybody that comes through, where if you charge a permit fee, at least everybody's on the same page, the town's recouping the same from everybody. I think it's a better way to do it. If it becomes more popular, I think it's great that it is.
Mhm.
So we will have further discussion about that.
Okay, I'll sleep on it.
Mike?
Last Thursday, we dug test holes down by Carl's house. Disappointed you didn't even see us do it.
Still sleeping?
What it was can't precast, I'm only making the structure for Telegraph and Sullivan. The footings were gonna be precast, but not knowing the ground, they were gonna be twice the size, which was gonna add cost. The other option, other than us digging the test holes, was bring somebody in and do a bunch of core samples. But we had the excavator sitting right now in the winter anyway. So we went down last Thursday and we dug test holes. We think we had ledge. It's hard to tell, there was absolutely no frost.
Wow.
So the better thing, without taking a chance, whether there's ledge or not, we're gonna go with a poured in place concrete. Number one, if they hit ledge, it'll be drilled in pin, where if it's already precast for the structure, then you get into blasting if it's too high. So the easy option was to pour in place. Like I said, they have to drill and dowel it, but that would be
less
nothing compared to
expensive also.
blasting. So
Yeah.
that's the way I had Peter go. That's the last, so that's with that update. They did finally call me Friday when I was plowing on the pickup. They got 10 pickups already, chips loaded, still waiting for a train. What they're not telling me, and I'm sure what it is, to get a train load,
Ain't enough on there.
they got pickups with no chips. I'm sure that's what it is. And before I could even ask, we can't go get it, they cut me right off before then. So it is what it is, so that's what it is. This last snowstorm, it seems to be the big ones. We are getting mailboxes, we're just pushing the banks back. And we're having an awful issue, especially when it's cold, with these plastic ones. Because if you get a little chunk of ice, they just disintegrate. I mean, I had some calls, I didn't call back, because point blank, some of the messages they left were not very nice, so it is state law, we do not have to fix mailboxes, we don't.
We
The
pass it.
state doesn't, county, most towns around us don't, and we just don't fix them. A lot of them, when we're pushing it, they're only held on by 4 little screws. If the snow gets under it, it just pops up. Or they're that high, and
That's
our
it.
wings are higher than the mailboxes. So
41 inches, get them up.
you know, the ones that are calm, they've been hit 2-3 times, well, after a while, you should know enough to put them back. I hate to say it, but I don't mean to be mean, but it is what it is. It's just, we gotta get the snow off the road.
So when you took out my first one on Locust Drive, I put it right in the side of the Locust tree. And if you hit that, you weren't going anywhere.
You know, we had a lady on the road that called Brandy, she was complaining because we come off North Bend, we don't. She wanted to carry the snow down the road. So I got done Lloyd's run, Lloyd was up at the patent, I come off, and I knew what was gonna happen. You carry that snow off from there and don't dump, she ended up with a wall, she ended up shoveling more, so. But it is what it is, she just one of them that complains all the time, so. It's just, the snow's gotta get off the road, at point blank, it's, the big storm came from back,
It's
people
bigger, right?
are shoveling the driveway, and they no more get it done, and we go right back by and stuff it right back in, but a lot of that, if they know the way the plow's coming, if they shovel or blow it to the right, instead of to the left where the plow comes, you'll get rid of that, but if throw it to the way the plow's coming, it's gonna come right back in.
You went straight across my intersection instead of taking the right, I wouldn't get all that whole road, I only get that little bit.
Yeah, but you need something to do.
I was on the corner too.
I love it. My road's clean.
Because I was on vacation, how did you guys make out up on McGarra?
We haven't been up there because
We had a snowstorm.
Both Fridays, snowstorms.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Both Fridays been
Send me a
snowstorms.
picture.
Mailbox left up there.
Yeah, I was up there.
That's not gonna go well, like, regardless
You know
of
Bill
Bill.
Albright? That was it, Bill Albright.
No fail will be delivered.
I went up there a long time ago,
I
but
know,
Mel and them guys supposed to go back up.
yeah.
Taking Mike with us.
I definitely don't think it's
Mike and I.
feasible at all.
Well, if you wanted to pay for the whole thing, it would be.
That's not what he told me. I
Yeah.
heard that. That's what he told Brandy, but that's not what he was talking to me about.
Once I know what the blacktop price is, I'll try to come up with what we're gonna do for roads, but right now it's a guess. I had lunch today with Brandy, you know, we called around budget time, we got hold of the county on numbers for fuel costs, and they told us it's gonna go down. Well, I added 5% anyway, and I'm probably still not even gonna be close.
Yeah.
Well, after today, the sanction and all that,
Yeah.
prices of gas is gonna go skyrocket, but it is what it is.
Putin's gonna be giving us some oil pretty soon.
No,
Oh, yeah.
we need to cut them off.
That's all I got.
That's not too bad, Mike.
But no, we have not been able to get up there because both Fridays in a row, we've had those snowstorms and so, but no, he must.
Put the plow on Marketplace, but it
Did
didn't
you up
get
there?
any takers.
I was up checking with
No.
That's long through there.
I tried to hook onto the.
So we will, wanna shoot for this Friday again?
We can.
You and Mel?
That is out to bid, that
And
project.
if we get a snowstorm this Friday,
I
we'll
talked to
postpone it
Diane
until
today,
summer.
nobody's picked up plans.
One.
Or did somebody finally? They're getting a little nervous because I know they're.
That's the culvert, you mean?
Yeah, and what it is just because I think of all the infrastructure money for a first time ever, you know, when I got the folders and then luck only had room for one more project. They were full, that's all they were on, one more, Fuller can't even bid it because they're just,
And that's on until the.
they're booked till
March.
after school's out, September, that's just,
I got the same feeling on it. Me too.
and the next thing is getting material, it's gonna be, that's gonna be an issue, not for that project, but for anything else. We're running into it right now with plow parts, it just can't get anything.
Did you get the truck back on the road?
Which one?
There's two of them down.
Well, the one that I got the picture.
The plow's gone.
That was electrical.
Electrical or hydraulic?
No, that was,
Electrical.
a broken wire for a
Broken
snow
wire.
white, he hit a bump, and the wire was just broken off, it would separate, would shut the fuel off, it would run on ether, but then it wouldn't get back. He got it down there the first time, but his garage was full, finally got everything cleared out of the garage, went up, the truck started right up, and he couldn't get it to die. We plowed all the next day with it. And we went up the next day, he was all done, he was all quite correct. Coming out of there, he was all done, had back garage and quit. We could not get it fired, ended up, they finally found it, but those are a nightmare because it's a hit and miss when it does it, it was a wire for the fuel shut.
Anything else? Enough? I think so. Courtney?
I don't have much, just the biggest thing I got going on is still working multiple meetings on the wastewater disinfection, and we should be heading into final design shortly with hopefully going out to bid late fall this year.
Cool.
Tomorrow, myself, Chris Malin, and Dan are going to down by Albany to actually go look at sewage presses for replacing our current press. We want a factory tour at BEP, and they're supposed to take us to a couple wastewater facilities.
That'd be cool.
See some themselves.
In the fall, Courtney, you said?
What's that?
The
The project is supposed to be went out to bid late fall, early winter.
Who's going with you? Greg's going with you? Who'd you say was going tomorrow?
Dan and Chris Malin,
Going
the other
to
two
class.
wastewater operators,
Yeah.
and then a few from AES are going down also.
How long are those presses supposed to last, Craig?
Hope you're updated.
Can you find out when you're down there? And what's the warranty on them?
GP used to have a big press.
That's in the sewer
That
plant.
pulp press.
Right.
They can press some pulp, baby.
Obviously, the longer you keep them, the more money you dump in them. Parts wise, parts are harder to get.
Are they still the same, basically, as the one that's already there, or are they?
We're going a complete different route.
Oh, okay.
We do not like the one we have.
What are they mostly used to be, like screws type of thing?
The two we're going to look at is a belt press and a screw press. At least those you can see your product coming off the end. If you have to make adjustments, ours, you don't know until you open it. You could run that thing for 4 hours, open it, and it comes out like mud.
Yeah.
Ours is very expensive to maintain.
Yep.
All the parts come out of Germany, they're hard to get.
Right.
The electrical side, all the PLCs are the older version. I struggle to get people to come up to work on them. It's just older software, older.
I've worked on the screw presses before, they're pretty efficient.
Anything else?
Have a safe trip. Good luck.
Pam?
No. Besides, everybody's calling already for concerts.
All right.
That's good.
Get some good ones.
That's good. And Bob wasn't here tonight because he's in class and night class and
Sure
until
is.
Wednesday night.
And the Who is playing in Florida, by the way.
What?
The Who is playing in Florida, so they're available.
I'll try and get them.
That might be it.
Anything else in other business, anyone here? Okay,
No.
moving along.
Move it.
Number 17, public comments on agenda items only.
Just wanted to ask on the Tedford Consulting, is that related to phase 2? Trying to get grants for that, or what is that?
No, just for the first one. It's for the project we have going right now. And she gets all the billing stuff together, and if you could see part of Form E and all the paperwork that goes into getting paid.
So there's a lot more paperwork than anticipated, is that it?
Well, the project has gone on longer, so.
Okay, that's all I had.
Yep, anyone else? Okay, moving along.
Move along.
Number 18, any motion and second for a resolution to pay the bills?
Second?
Dan. Jim made a motion, Craig second. And resolution Diane.
He's left.
He's gotta leave.
I know. Resolution authorizing the post audit payment of certain claims, bills, and invoices in the town, whereas the town board is
Yankees
required to
aren't
audit
playing,
the
are
following claims, bills and invoices for services rendered and goods provided to the town in February 2022. From town approved vouchers in February 2022, 2022-000170, through and including 2022-000233, abstract dated 2/23/2022, for the dollar amount totaling $155,447.80. Of that, $75,144.84 was wired credit cards and prepaid, and $80,202.96 is remaining to be paid. And whereas the town board found said claims, bills, and invoices to be acceptable in form and reasonable in amount. Now therefore be it resolved that payment of the aforementioned claims, bills, and invoices is approved, and the supervisor being hereby is authorized to make such payment, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. And that doesn't say excuse, that says Mr. Barber.
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Bruno.
Yes.
Oh, let's get there, Mr. Irwin. Mr. Douglas?
Yeah.
And Mr. McDonald.
Yes. Need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make it.
Rick?
So be it.
Craig? All in favor?
Aye. Oh, man, I was all pumped up to throw punches.
So basically what Rick said, we're just tabling the executive session.
Not sure what he said.
Okay.
No, we need a motion to go in there, a motion to go out.
Neither am I.
No, that's not, we didn't go in, we didn't go in, they
Oh, okay.
spoke of how it should be worded,
Oh, okay, okay,
it's off the table.
Other business, I'm fine.
okay.
Now.
Any other business?
I'm nervous.
Other business? Joe? Good. Diane?
I'm good.
One other business I have, as you can know, if you're vaccinated, no mask is needed inside the town or the buildings. If you're unvaccinated, you should wear them. If you don't, it is what it is, because we're not gonna ask people, it is what it is. The doors will be unlocked starting tomorrow. There hasn't been a time sheet for the last week and a half. There's more time sheet coming in, signed. So basically, if you're unvaccinated, please wear your mask when you come in. If you're not, you know, it is what it is. That's as of today. It can change, obviously, we know with time, probably in a couple weeks, it probably will go backwards the other way because everything else getting unmasked, but let's hope not. Rick, I did?
I just wanna know when the concerts start.
Last week of June,
That's what
last
I
weekend of
thought.
June.
Last weekend of June.
Rick said that he can have this done
By then?
for the first concert.
Okay, good, awesome. I don't think I have anything else yet.
I'm good.
No,
Just seeing this, Tom Lavin, Adirondack Regional Theater, they're scheduled to use that stage, I assume.
They're probably gonna have too many, so they will, if the board approves them to use the area, they'll be in front of it. Because I think they've got like 40 kids. Yeah, 40 participants, and they're not all gonna fit on that stage, so. Or they'll bring their own side things too, so,
Expanding. That's-
yeah.
That's July 16th.
Yeah. They will be charging, but they are a nonprofit.
that's a
so-
Saturday too.
Yes, I told them absolutely no Sundays. So,
How can they charge?
they can ask for donations, I guess.
They can ask for
or-
a donation, but they can't charge somebody to go into our park, right?
I don't believe they can charge, but they can ask for donations.
Yeah,
We have
I-
people that are gonna walk the park or trail, they go down the trail, you gotta pay.
Yeah, yeah, they can ask for donations, we just gotta make sure they can ask, but I don't believe I don't know
how to regulate that.
It says, is there an admission fee, and they said yes.
so we gotta find out
They're
about
gonna-
that to
they're
make
gonna-
sure that,
If they wanna kind of put up like bleachers and charge, you
To
get a
sit on the-
seat on the bleacher to sit on, but if they're having people sit on town of Peru's lawn or grass or whatever, I don't know how they can charge for that.
They're
They'll
gonna
give us
sell,
some
they're
of
gonna, my son has acted with them before, they're gonna sell tickets to watch that show.
How,
Yeah,
what if
that's
you
a-
stand farther, I mean, I don't know, they got like a roped off area where you can stand and watch it?
This is the first time I believe they've ever done it out like
Outside.
this.
Right.
Now,
Yeah, they do
did
it
have
up
one-
in Rouse's Point in
Well,
Champlain.
they did have one, we went, my wife.
they are a nonprofit, just remember that, though, that's the
They
only
had
good thing,
one
you need like
on
someone
the
wants to have a
stage.
band down there.
Down
They're saying
next
if
to the
somebody's
fire.
going down there to walk or something, they're gonna say, you gotta pay, you know?
Yeah,
Plus, I mean, if they have a specific area that you could sit in, you know, like it's stacked, something like that, I just don't know how they regulate an area that large for people that are just
Right.
going through it or not. Maybe they need to, somebody from this theater might need to come to a board meeting and kind of with a sketch, what's your plan, what are you gonna do, how are you gonna do this, how are you gonna enforce it, and those kind of things, and how are you gonna not interrupt other people that wanna use the park for other activities.
Because we know Saturdays
Just so we
are
know,
busy.
just so we can provide the information to everybody else.
Like Rick said, I'm guessing they're probably gonna cordon off an area.
100 feet or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't think to ask
It'd be
that.
better if they came.
We asked them to come to the next board meeting,
Okay,
the 14th, right? It's 14th, is it the 14th?
yeah.
Yeah,
March
I just don't wanna see them stopping people on the road, so yeah, you gotta pay to come in here.
No, because
No,
people
I
are gonna
don't
go
think
in and out of there all the
like
time.
that.
on Saturday.
Because they would be, you know, there's the dog park and,
Yes.
you know.
So we got time, I mean, it's not until July, so basically this was only other business anyways, so we won't act on this until we have more details.
Oh, cool.
No, anything else? Greg?
I don't know who the elves were that came in and did the bulletin board over, but it looks fabulous. They are fabulous
Little
people.
Miss Diane.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Those look nice.
You're very welcome. True blue.
I told him I've been there years.
Before it was
this
100%.
tonight.
I
And
think
all
she
that-
needs to go with junk off.
And all at her own cost.
Yeah, I did
It is
hear
nice.
that.
Well, when you forget to call to make sure it's okay. I've already got the stuff in the car. Oh, hi, Grant, I forgot
Looks
to
great.
ask.
Yeah, she asked me
I said-
after it was already done.
Yeah.
I said, I
I
can't
came in
speak,
and I said, who paid for that? Well, I did.
because I didn't ask before, I
You
thought
know,
they
I
were.
think that she
I'm
should.
thinking of this back to this theater production. If groups are gonna keep using that area and they're starting using it more, as you build it up a little more too, you're gonna wanna start thinking about permitting fees. For any group that goes down there, I mean, regardless of who's going down there, the town's gotta go mow, clean up stuff, empty trash, there's costs involved, so something to be thinking about, just because otherwise, you're just gonna get run over. I mean, I'm sure the city does it with the band shell and events like the Mayor's Cup, I know the food vendors pay permitting fees, so it's a discussion that's gonna have to start pretty soon. It's great that it's getting popular, you don't want it high enough where it's gonna stop people from using it, but it's also gonna be where just anybody can't just go down and set up whatever.
Yeah, it's true. Courtney's guys do have to pick up a
Which
lot.
Courtney's down
also
there every
brings
week
up the
bringing cords
hometown
in.
market.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. what that-
Well, that's what we're gonna have to
They've
discuss.
got insurance already on their own, right?
Well, they got
I'm just talking
insurance.
about permit
Well,
fees.
yeah, they also-
Anybody that goes down there better have insurance, I'm just talking about the ability to use the space, to use the
gotta have
space
permits.
with the town's blessing.
Yeah, it makes sense, definitely.
Because
It doesn't have to be a lot, 45, 75 bucks.
Well, we have to find out what the other towns are charging, because like Matt said, if not, you're gonna get people to keep using it and making money out. I mean, some people are non-profit, some people are are profitable, obviously,
Yeah.
we know that. So we gotta figure out,
All right, find out, look into that, Brendan.
we are gonna look into it.
Cool, good idea, Matt.
And it'd be nice to know like what your two company, where you guys, when somebody wants to use down there, what does it take for you guys to get ready, garbage, just an overall, just an idea, what's it, if somebody's gonna be down there for like this production, what
They do it weekly anyway, so.
But I gotta think there's an increased cost specifically if groups are going down there. I mean, I feel like every time we have somebody down there,
Definitely
we're
more
asking
garbage.
Mike or Courtney's crew to go down there and do something extra every time, so there's
Every
gotta be
time.
some increased cost.
Definitely more
Yeah,
garbage.
and if any Courtney and his guys, it's us.
You just wanna be able to recoup
We
that
don't
at
get
some
paid.
point.
No, I know, but
Not
I'm
only
saying
that,
it's us.
Matt, but now, the farmer's market didn't use any power, the vendors had generators, but if they're gonna use that stage, they're gonna wanna use power. And the
Right,
power-
right.
the power-
And as soon as you start using town resources and you're not getting something back, you're getting goodwill back, and that's great. But if you're kind of gifting public funds to entities and maybe, you don't look at anybody that comes through, where if you charge a permit fee, at least everybody's on the same page, the town's recouping the same from everybody. I think it's a better way to do it. If it becomes more popular, I think it's great that it is.
But we would have further discussion about that.
Okay, I'll sleep on it.
Mike?
Last Thursday, we dug test holes down by Carl's house. Disappointed you didn't even see us do it.
Still sleeping?
What it was camp precast, the one that making the structure for Telegraph and Sullivan, the footings were gonna be precast, but not knowing the ground, they were gonna be twice the size, which was gonna add cost. The other option, other than us digging the test holes, was bring somebody in and do a bunch of core samples. But we had the excavator sitting right now in the winter anyway. So we went down last Thursday and we dug test holes. We think we had ledge. It's hard to tell, there was absolutely no frost. So the better thing, without taking a chance, whether there's ledge or not, we're gonna go with a poured in place concrete. Number one, if they hit ledge, it'll be drilled in pin, where if it's already precast for the structure, then you get into blasting if it's too high. So the easy option was to pour in place. Like I said, they'll have to drill and dowel it, but that would be
less
nothing compared to
expensive also.
blasting. So
Yeah.
that's the way I had Peter go. That's the last, so that's with that update. They did finally call me Friday when I was plowing on the pickup. They got 10 pickups already, chips loaded, still waiting for a train. What they're not telling me, and I'm sure what it is, to get a train load,
Ain't enough on there.
they got pickups with no chips. I'm sure that's what it is. And before I can even ask, we can't go get it, they cut me right off before then. So it is what it is, so that's what it is. This last snowstorm, it seems to be the big ones. We are getting mailboxes, we're just pushing the banks back. And we're having an awful issue, especially when it's cold with these plastic ones. Because if you get a little chunk of ice, they just disintegrate. I mean, I had some calls, I didn't call back, because point blank, some of the messages they left were not very nice, so it is state law, we do not have to fix mailboxes, we don't.
We
The
passed it.
state does it, county, most towns around us, don't, and we just don't fix them. A lot of them, when we're pushing it, they're only held on by 4 little screws. If the snow gets under it, it just pops up. Or they're that high, and
That's
our
it.
wings are higher than the mailboxes. So
41 inches, get
it
them up.
sees- You know, the ones that are calm, they've been hit 2-3 times, well, after a while, you should know enough to put them back. I hate to say it, but I don't mean to be mean, but it is what it is. It's just, we gotta get the snow off the road.
That's why when you took out my first one on Locust Drive, I put it right in the side of the locust tree. And if you hit that, you weren't going anywhere.
You know, we had a lady on the road that called Brandy, she was complaining because we come off North Bend, we don't. She wanted to carry the snow down the road. So I got done Lloyd's run, Lloyd was up at the patent, and I come off, and I knew what was gonna happen. You carry that snow off from there and don't dump, she ended up with a wall, she ended up shoveling more, so. But it is what it is, she's just one of them that complains all the time, so. It's just, the snow's gotta get off the road, at point blank. It's, the big storm came from back,
It's bigger.
our shoveling the driveway, and they no more than get it done, and we go right back by and stuff it right back in, but a lot of that, when they know the way the plow's coming, if they shovel or blow it to the right, instead of to the left where the plow comes, you'll get rid of that, but if you throw it to the way the plow's coming, it's gonna come right back in.
You went straight across my intersection instead of taking the right. I wouldn't get all that whole road, I only get that little bit.
Yeah, but you need something to do.
I live on the corner too.
I love it. My road's clean.
Because I was on vacation, how did you guys make out up on McGarville?
We haven't been up there, because
We had a snowstorm.
both Fridays, snowstorms.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
All right.
Both Fridays been
send me
snowstorms.
a picture.
Mailbox left up there.
Yeah, it's up there.
That's not gonna go well, like, regardless.
You know Bill Upright?
Yeah.
That was it, Bill Upright.
No mail will be delivered.
I went up there a long time ago, but
I know.
Mel and them guys supposed to go back up.
Yeah,
Taking Mike with us.
I definitely don't think
Mike
it's
and Oxy.
feasible at all.
well, if you wanted to pay for the whole thing, it would be.
That's not what he's told me. I
Yeah.
heard that. That's what he told Brandy, but that's not what he was talking to me about.
Once I know what the blacktop price is, I'll try to come up with what we're gonna do for roads, but right now it's a guess. I had lunch today with Brandy, you know, we called around budget time, we got hold of the county on numbers for fuel costs, and they told us it's gonna go down. Well, I added 5% anyway, and I'm probably still not even gonna be close.
Yeah.
Well, after today, the sanction and all that,
Yeah.
prices of gas is gonna go skyrocket, but it is what it is.
Wooden's gonna be giving us some oil pretty soon.
No,
Oh, yeah.
you need to cut them off.
That's all I got.
That's not too bad, Mike.
But no, we have not been able to get up there because both Fridays in a row, we've had those snowstorms and so, but no, you must.
Put the plow on Marketplace, but it
Did
didn't
you
get
up
any
there?
papers.
Time's up checking what's on.
No.
That's long through
I tried to hook onto the.
So we will, wanna shoot for this Friday again?
Can?
You don't know?
That is out to bid, that
And
project.
if we get a snowstorm this Friday,
I
you'll
talked to
postpone
Diane
it till
today,
summer.
nobody's picked up plans. Or did somebody finally? They're getting all nervous as I know they're.
That's the culvert, you mean?
Yeah, and what it is just because I think of all the infrastructure money for a first time ever. You know, when I got the Fullers and then Luck only had room for one more project. They were full. That's all they were on, one more. Fuller came and bid it because they're just.
And that's on until the.
They're booked till
March.
after school's out, September. It's just,
I got the same feeling on it. Me too.
and the next thing is getting material. It's gonna be, that's gonna be an issue, not for that project, but for anything else. We're running into it right now with plow parts. It just can't get anything.
Did you get the truck back on the road?
Which one?
There's two of them down.
Well, the one that I got the picture.
The plow's gone.
That was electrical.
Electrical or hydraulic?
No, that was,
Electrical.
a broken wire for
Broken
solenoid. He hit a bump, and the wire was just broken enough, it would separate, it would shut the fuel off, it would run on ether, but then it wouldn't get back. He got it down there the first time, but his garage was full. Finally got everything cleared out of the garage, went up, the truck started right up, and he couldn't get it to die. We plowed all the next day with it. And we went up the next day, he was all done, he was quite correct. Coming out of there, he was all done, had back garage and quit. We could not get it fired, ended up they finally found it, but those are a nightmare because
Mm-hmm.
it's a hit and miss when it does it, and it was a wired for the fuel cell.
Anything else? Enough? I think so. Courtney?
I don't have much, just the biggest thing I got going on is still working multiple meetings on the wastewater disinfection, and we should be heading into final design shortly with hopefully going out to bid late fall this year.
Cool.
Tomorrow, myself, Chris Malin, and Dan are going to down by Albany to actually go look at sewage presses for replacing our current press. We want a factory tour at BDP, and they're supposed to take us to a couple wastewater facilities.
That'd be cool.
See some installs.
In the fall, Courtney, you said?
What's that?
The,
The
yeah.
project is supposed to be went out to bid late fall, early winter.
Who's going with you? Greg's going with you? Who'd you say was going tomorrow?
Dan and Chris Malin,
Going
the
to
other two
class.
wastewater operators,
Yeah.
and then a few from AES are going down also.
How long are those presses supposed to last, Courtney?
Hope you're updated.
Can you find out when you're down there? And what's the warranty on it?
GP used to have a big press.
And that's in
I
the
worked
sewer
on that
plant.
pulp press.
Right.
They could press some pulp, maybe.
Obviously, the longer you keep them, the more money you dump in them. Parts wise, parts are harder to get.
Are they still the same, basically, as the one that's already there, or are they?
We're going a complete different route.
Oh, okay.
We do not like the one we have.
What do they mostly used to be, like screws type of thing?
The two we want to look at is a belt press and a screw press. At least those, you can see your product coming off the end. If you have to make adjustments, ours, you don't know until you open it. You could run that thing for 4 hours, open it, and it comes out like mud.
Yeah.
Ours is very expensive to maintain.
Yep.
All the parts come out of Germany, they're hard to get.
Right.
The electrical side, all the PLCs are the older version. I struggle to get people to come up to work on them. It's just older software, older.
I've worked on the screw presses before, they're pretty efficient.
Anything else?
Have a safe trip. Good luck.
Pam?
No. Besides, everybody's calling already for concerts.
All right.
That's good.
Get some good ones.
That's good. And Bob wasn't here tonight because he's in class, in night class, and it's Wednesday night.
And the Who is playing in Florida, by the way.
What?
The Who is playing in Florida, so they're available.
I'll try and get them.
That might be on.
Anything else in other business, anyone here? Okay,
No.
moving along.
Move it.
Number 17, public comments on agenda items only.
Just wanted to ask on that Tedford Consulting, is that related to phase 2? Trying to get grants for that, or what is that?
No, just for the first one. It's for the project we have going right now. And she gets all the billing stuff together, and if you could see part of Form E and all the paperwork that goes into getting paid.
So there's a lot more paperwork than anticipated, is that it?
Well, the project has gone on longer, so.
Yeah. Okay, that's all I had.
Yep, anyone else? Okay, moving along.
Move along.
Number 18, I need a motion and a second for a resolution to pay the bills.
Second?
Dan. Jim made a motion, Craig second. And resolution Diane.
He's left.
He's gotta leave.
I know. Resolution authorizing the post audit payment of certain claims, bills, and invoices in the town, whereas the town board is
Yankees aren't playing, are they?
the following claims. Bills and invoices for services rendered and goods provided to the town in February 2022. From town approved vouchers in February 2022, 2022-000170 through and including 2022-000233. Abstract dated 2/23/2022 for the dollar amount totaling $155,447.80. Of that, $75,144.84 was wired credit cards and prepaid, and $80,202.96 is remaining to be paid. And whereas the town board found the said claims, bills, and invoices to be acceptable in form and reasonable in amount. Now therefore be it resolved that payment of the aforementioned claims, bills, and invoices is approved, and the supervisor being hereby is authorized to make such payment, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. And that doesn't say excuse, that says Mr. Bartlett.
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Bruno.
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Get there, Mr. Irwin.
Yes.
Mr. Douglas.
Yeah.
And Mr. McDonald.
Yes. Need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make it.
Rick,
So be it.
Craig, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.